Excited though. I'm excited to share this practice with you, especially because this is going to be a chair practice, chair yoga. So I want to clarify because there's some misconceptions about chair yoga. I like to compare it to water aerobics. Back in the day, water aerobics didn't get the respect it deserved. We thought it was just for seniors. And since then, we have learned that aquatic fitness is beneficial to everybody, right? Chair aerobics is a lot like that. We think of it just for people who have physical limitations or who are up in age, but chair aerobics can benefit everyone, okay? So what it does is it makes it accessible, and that's my mission, to make yoga accessible to everyone, but it also can add challenge to those people who have practiced for a while or who are very fit. You can get something out of chair yoga also. The other thing I love about chair yoga is that it can be done by everybody, but almost everywhere, as long as you have access to a chair. Okay, so you are going to need to get yourself a chair. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. Grab a chair. Now, I would suggest a chair with no arms, if at all possible, and without wheels. Even though I have taught a class with chairs with wheels, it was interesting. Actually, it was a lot of fun, but we did manage to, we got it done. The only reason I say preferably no wheels, because then you aren't challenging your core at every single turn to maintain that stability, that grounding that we're aiming for. Okay, so go ahead and grab yourself a chair, preferably with no arms or wheels. Open heart, willing mind, willing heart, open mind. This is something you can do in your office when you all get back to work, for those of you who are off, or virtually anywhere. So let's get started. By the way, I'm Lavonda from Keep Moving Fitness. Let's do some chair yoga. I have my chair here. I just grabbed a chair from my dining room. And I'm gonna sit my bum on the chair. There you go, no brainer about that one. But I wanna make sure that I sit so that my feet can be firmly planted on the earth, okay? So my feet are firmly planted on the earth. Now, if that's challenging for you, if you're a little vertically challenged, then you can use some blocks to kind of raise the floor up if you need to. You can even, if you don't have blocks, you can really use whatever you have. You can use your rolled up mat. You can use some books. You can use a cushion. You can use some rolled up towels or blanket. But you want to have something that can make sure that your feet are grounded, okay? And we want our ankles right under our knees. So I don't really need these blocks. So I'm going to move them out of the way. As I said, ankles are under knees. Knees are extending from the hips. You're sitting up nice and tall. And just like we're in Tadasana when we're standing, this is a Tadasana. This is our seated Tadasana or mountain pose. We want our shoulders falling away from our ears. We want our spine in neutral, okay? And we're just gonna rest our hands on our knees here. Shoulders pulling away from the ears, shoulders pulling back. Now, one thing that tends to happen when we sit in a chair is we tend to cave that belly in and round those shoulders. We don't want to do that. We want to sit up nice and tall, but the shoulders are pressing away from the ears. All right, let's soften our gaze or close our eyes if we feel comfortable and become aware of the breath. We still want to do that same centering that we do in any other practice, in a chair yoga practice. And that centering gives us an opportunity to kind of relax, slow down, listen to the body, feel the breath, let go of anything preceding this moment, and really just focus on ourselves. With each inhalation, think of extending through the spine. With each exhalation, think of relaxing those shoulders away from the ears. Unclench your jaw. Allow your tongue to rest easy in the bottom of your mouth. Smooth your brow. You may even feel your body just becoming a little more solid, a little heavier in the chair. Deepen that breath. Let's count those inhalations. 4 count inhale, pausing at the top. 4 count exhale, resting at the bottom. Give me 3 more breaths just like that, guys. And at the last one, I want you to allow your lips to part and give a nice audible sigh, a sigh of relief. All right, allow your breathing to return to its natural rhythm. Flutter your eyelids open. Let's release our hands from our knees. Inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let those arms float down and out. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And release. This time as we inhale up, we're going to allow our hands to float down to the right side. Hand just embraces the thigh and the side of your chair. Inhale up, float down to the left. Our heart is still shining forward. We're just giving the shoulders and the back a little warming mobility here. Continue to flow with the breath, inhaling as we reach up, exhaling as we descend down. Now we're going to start to allow the torso to twist with the arms. So as the arms float right, the heart also rotates right. Arms float left, heart turns left. The next time those hands float down to the right, let's hold right there for a few breaths. On the next inhale, let's inhale up, heart forward, and exhale to the other side. Inhale, heart forward, arms up overhead. Let's allow that right hand to fall down to the side. Just let it rest on the side of your chair. That left hand is reaching up, but the shoulder is still rooted down the back. Just the fingertips are aspiring up to the sky. Now let's engage the entire side body, reaching the rib cage up, the arm up, the fingertips reaching up. Now let's soften that right elbow and allow those left fingertips to melt over to the right side of the room. Gaze upward. You should feel that extension all along the left side body here. On our next exhale, we allow that left hand to float to the outside of that right thigh. Once again, we hold that torso twist to the right. Continue to breathe, guys, with each exhalation. Perhaps you find just a little more rotation. And only if it feels right in this moment, we can look back over that right shoulder. Any movement with the cervical spine, also known as the neck, we always want to make sure it feels right. If it don't fit, don't force it. Let's inhale, arms up, heart forward. This time we're going to allow the left hand to float down to the side, outside of that chair. Right fingertips are reaching up. Shoulders are falling away from the ears. Maintain that neutral spine, sitting up nice and tall. Now let's reach up through that entire side body here. Continue to breathe. Let's soften that left elbow. Let those right fingertips float over towards the left wall. Let's gaze up. On our next exhale, we allow those fingertips to float down to the left side. Heart and gaze turning to the left. And only if it feels right, we can turn our gaze over that left shoulder. On our next inhale, we rotate our heart forward, sweep those arms up overhead. Let's exhale the elbows out nice and wide, cactus arms. Continue to breathe, guys. On our next exhalation, we allow the hands to float down to the outside of our chair and reach behind just a little bit. Grab the back of your chair. Extend your heart forward. Pull your shoulders back. Imagine you're trying to squeeze a pencil between the shoulder blades. Continue to breathe nice and deep. Let's release the back of our chair. Once again, inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale those cactus arms out nice and wide. Allow the hands to float down and back. And one more time. Release, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus arms. And allow the hands to float down and back. Let's raise our chin here. Reach our heart forward. I want to feel that love coming through the computer. And release. Let the hands come to rest on the knees here. So, once again, let's check our Tadasana, our seated mountain pose here. We're sit up nice and tall. If a beam of light were to come down from the sky and go into your crown, it should come straight through the core of your body down into the seat of this chair. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of seated cat and cow. So, on our inhale, we're going to pull the shoulders back, let the belly balloon forward, chest and belly balloon forward. On the exhale, we're going to draw the belly button in towards the spine, round through the back, round those shoulders forward. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Now notice as we flow with the breath here, the movement here is through the spine, the back, the shoulders, the core. The head is just going along for the ride. So we're not trying to tuck the chin or anything. We're letting all this movement come through the core of the body. Give me one more. And once again, neutral. All right, let's let the legs join the party. So we're going to take our hands to the outside of our chair, just along the sides. And we're going to raise and lower the heels, alternating from right to left. Just gently up on the ball of the feet. You should feel an activation through the calves here, through the ankles, perhaps even through the quadriceps at the front of the thighs. Let's plant those feet and just gently, not a big movement, windshield wiper those knees from right to left. Oh, our heard some creaking bones. They say creaking of the joints is the body lubricating itself. So it's a good thing. I'm well lubricated. All right, once again, plant those feet. This time we're going to lift the toes up. Heels stay planted, alternating from right to left. Now you probably really feel that through the front of the shin. Tibialis anterior. Just a little bit, lifting right and then left, right and then left. Let's do one more each side. Once again, keep those feet planted. Just windshield wiper. It isn't a big movement here from right to left. All right, let's once again find stillness with the feet planted. Now we're going to lift this right leg. Just lift it straight up. Point the toes towards the sky. Point the toes forward. Allow that leg to float down. Left leg comes up. Point the toes towards the sky. Point the toes forward. Let that leg float back down. Let's lift that right leg once again. Toes up, toes forward, toes up. Now let's rotate through that ankle. Switch the direction of your rotation and let that leg float down. Let's get that left leg up, toes forward, toes up. Now let's rotate through that ankle and switch the direction of your rotation and let that leg float down. All right, so now we're going to take this right leg. We're going to bring it up, interlace those fingers, grab just underneath the knee, and pull that thigh in close to the body. And we still sit up nice and tall. Those shoulders are still pressed away from the ears. If you find it difficult to grab the front of the shin, you can grab underneath the thigh. Just pull that thigh up towards the body. And we're aspiring to have that knee come to the shoulder. Let's take that leg, bend that leg over so that the ankle comes to the top of the left thigh. Once again, sit up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears, and we're just allowing that hip to naturally open, just naturally fall open. No pressure. Continue to breathe, guys. Now, with the breath, we're going to inhale those arms up overhead and exhale, allowing the hands to float to the outside of that right thigh. We're rotating through the spine. And you should feel a little more sensation to that hip. Once again, use the breath. Perhaps you find a little more rotation with each exhalation. Let's inhale the arms up, heart forward, and let those hands float down to the outside of our chair. Let's release that leg down. All right, so now we're going to take this left leg, interlace those fingers, bring that thigh in towards the body, knee towards the shoulders. We're still sit up nice and tall with our heart extending forward. Continue to breathe. Now let's take this leg, bring the ankle to the top of that right knee, top of that right thigh. Sit up nice and tall, just letting the weight of this leg to open the hip. Now let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, rotate to the left. Inhale, heart forward, fingertips to the sky. Let those hands float down to the outside of the chair. Both feet planted on the ground. Now I'm going to take those legs a little wider than hip distance apart here. Toes are pointing out slightly. You may want to slide forward on your chair just a little bit. Once again, we're going to do a bit of cat and cow. Hands are resting on the knees. On the inhale, belly forward. On the exhale, round those shoulders forward. Pull that belly button back towards the spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's get one more in. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And neutral. Let's inhale those arms up overhead. We're going to rotate our heart towards this right thigh and allow ourselves to fold forward with those fingertips reaching out over that thigh, out beyond those toes. We're gazing at our foot here. Let's inhale back up, turn our heart forward. Now let's turn towards that left thigh. Fold over that left thigh, reaching those fingertips forward. Let's inhale upright, turn our heart forward. This time we're going to fold forward. Just allow our hands to come to rest on the floor in between our feet. You may feel an opening here through the hips. Just let your head hang loose. You should be able to freely shake your head no. On our next inhale, we're going to tent those fingers, flatten out that back, bring our hands to our thighs, and slowly bring ourselves up. Fantastic. So we're going to go into a warrior two here. Let's go to the right side first. So I'm going to bring this right foot pointing out to the side of my chair. My bum is right on the edge of the chair. I'm going to bring this left foot pointing forward. That knee is pointing forward. Okay. I'm going to turn my heart forward and extend my arms out to the sides. Shoulders are still falling away from the ears. Then I'm going to gaze out over that right arm. I'm still dynamically reaching those fingertips to the opposite walls. Continue to breathe. Now on the inhale, I'm going to reach this left arm up. Exhale, sweep it down and back around. And let my hands come to fall and rest on my thighs. That's one version of a seated warrior two. Now we're going to take it to a different level. I'm going to give you some tools here that you can use. I'm going to bring my block out here. I'm going to use my block to rest my left knee on here, right there. Once again, turning my heart and my shoulders. Extend those arms out. Gaze over that front arm. I can extend that even further here by curling the toes under of this left leg and extending that leg out. Now I'm going to open up this right palm, extend forward from the hip, really reaching the rib cage forward, and sweep that arm up and back. Peaceful warrior. Gazing up at my upstretched hand. On my next exhale, I'm going to bring myself back to warrior two. Hands to the chair and release. Legs out nice and wide, toes pointing out slightly. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, let's fold forward once again. Palms are planted. We're folding forward, letting that heart extend down and back, releasing the neck. Now tent those fingers, flatten out that back. Bring the hands to the top of the thighs and roll up. Now let's hit that warrior two to the other side. So my bum is on the edge of my chair. I'm going to turn that left knee out. Bring that right knee forward. I'm pretty much creating a 90-degree angle here with my legs, okay? Extend those arms out. Heart forward. Gaze over that left arm. Now if I'd like to take that other variation for warrior two over here, I'm going to release my hands, bring my right knee to that block. My booty's falling off the chair. Extend those arms out. Once again, warrior two. I'm going to open up that left palm, hinge forward from the rib cage. Sweep that arm up and back. I can stay here, or I can raise and extend that leg out. Let's come back into warrior two from that peaceful warrior. Release our arms and return forward. All right, so from here, I'm going to move my block out of the way. I'm going to bring my feet back, hip distance apart. Now, I'm going to inhale my arms up, and as I come up, I'm going to raise my bum about the chair, coming into a chair. So I'm going from seating in the chair to coming to chair pose. Let my arms come down, let my bum touch down lightly. Inhale, arms up. Bring the weight onto my legs and my feet and come into a standing chair here. Down and back. One more time. You should feel that in the quadriceps here, in the bum, in the calves. And back down. All right. So another great thing about using a chair for yoga is that a lot of those standing balance moves that some of us may be a little tenuous on, they become accessible to us. So now, we're actually going to get out of our chair, but we're still going to use it. So I'm going to come up out of my chair. I'm going to turn it around so that you can see what's going on here. And I'm going to stand behind it. So we're actually using the back of the chair with our practice so that we can make these standing poses a little more accessible and facilitate our balance. Okay, we're still going to engage through the pelvic floor and do all those things. We're still going to make sure all four corners of our feet are planted, but we're just using the chair as a prop, just like a block or a strap. Okay, so I'm in Tadasana. Shoulders are falling away from the ears. The only difference is I'm letting my fingertips rest on the back of my chair here. So I'm going to, on my inhale, raise this right leg forward with the knee up, toes pointing forward. And on the exhale, I'm going to allow this hip to open out to the side. I can rest my hands on my hips if I like to. Let me bring that knee back forward. Bring that leg in line with the other leg, heel pointing back, toes pointing back. I'm going to release this right hand, come down and grab that ankle. Find that quad stretch. Now from here, if I'm feeling good for my balance, I can release the left hand from this chair and let it come up overhead. I'm going to let this left hand float back down to the chair. Release this right ankle and take that leg back. I'm going to plant that foot, Turn the toes out 45 degrees. Bring my chest in line with my hips here. Shoulders in line with the hips. Heart is pointing forward here. Inhale the arms up overhead. Warrior one. Now this is a short stance, warrior one. We want that same awareness through the feet. I'm going to allow my hands to float down to the back of that chair. Extend that leg back. Try to point those toes towards the earth. And I'm going to allow my right hand to stay here on the chair and reach my left arm forward. Bring both hands back to the chair. Let that foot float down into mountain. Now here in my mountain, my equal standing pose, I'm going to come up on toes, rock back on heels, up on toes, back on heels, up on toes and back on heels. One more time. And come back grounded into that mat, or the earth, I should say. All right, time to do the other side. So my hands are resting on the back of the chair. I'm going to raise that left leg up. Toes pointing forward. Open that hip out to the side. And if I like to release that left hand, allow it to embrace my waist. Let's bring that knee back forward. Bring that foot back behind. Once again, using that left hand to grab the ankle, pulling the heel towards the bum. And if I'm feeling good here, releasing that right arm up. Letting that right hand float back down to the back of the chair. Left hand comes back to the back of the chair. Extend that leg out. That left leg is out. Try to point those toes forward. And if it feels good, releasing that right arm forward. Let's bring the hands back to the chair. Bring that knee forward once again. Plant those feet up on the balls of the feet. Rocking back on the heels. Up on the balls of the feet. Walking back on the heels. Up on the balls of the feet. Rocking back on the heels. And coming into neutral. Let's raise that left knee up once again. Step it back. Turn those toes out 45 degrees. Heart forward, shoulders forward. Inhale those arms up overhead. Let's end with that warrior one like we started on the other side. Let's let our hands float down to the chair. Step both feet back. So now we're about, I want to say 3 or 4 feet from the back of the chair. Let's hinge here. This is a chair-assisted down dog, actually. Let's raise open the balls of the feet. Let the heels drop and walk our way forward. All right, so I'm going to turn my chair back around so I can sit my bum back in the chair. Once again, I want to make sure I bring myself so that my feet are firmly planted on the earth. My knees are extending out from my hips, and my ankles are right under my knees. Rest my hands on my thighs or my knees here. Shoulders falling away from the ears. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. This, I'm going to turn those fingertips down. You should feel an extension through the tops of the arms here, the biceps, the shoulders. On the inhale, I'm going to turn these fingers up, reach up and out. Allow my arms to embrace the back of the chair. Release, inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Turn those fingertips down. Inhale up, extend the arms up and out. Resting on the back of the chair. One more time, that same flow. Release the back of the chair. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale them out nice and wide. Let's turn the right thumb down. Bring that hand to the back. Fingertips are reaching up. Left hand comes over top. Fingertips pointing down. Let's find that cow face arms. If your fingertips happen to meet, you can hook them together for just a little more tension there. Right elbow is pointing down, left elbow is extending up. Spine is in neutral. Continue to breathe. And release those arms out nice and wide. Let's turn the left thumb down this time. Bring the left hand behind the back, right hand behind the back. Let's find that cow face on the other side. Let's release that. Once again, reach those fingertips out nice and wide. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release the hands to the top of the thighs. All right, so we're going to bring this right leg up towards the body once again. It's a seated Apanasana or wind releasing. Let's bring that ankle to the top of the left thigh, just like we did in the start. Only difference this time is we're going to reach under and grab the outside of that foot across the instep. Reach under and grab the outside of that knee and thigh and lift that leg just off, pulling it towards the body. And release. Let that leg come back down, foot embrace the earth. Let's pull the other side in. Pull that thigh in towards the body. Sit up nice and tall, heart is still extending forward. Let's bring that ankle to the top of that opposite thigh. Let's embrace the outside of that foot, underneath the knee and thigh. Pull that leg in. You should feel that in the bum here, right at the hip. And release. Let that leg float down. All right, so now we're heading into our Shavasana. We can give ourselves permission to sit back in our chairs. If your feet dangle a bit, that's okay. If that's unsettling for you, you can come and get your blocks. Allow your back to rest along the back of the chair. Allow your shoulders to float away from your ears. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Soften your gaze or close your eyes and just breathe. All right, guys, when you're ready, flutter your eyelids open. Let's inhale our arms up overhead, bringing our palms together above the crown. Exhale, hands to heart center. As always, I appreciate you carving out a little time to come and practice with me. I hope you found this practice beneficial. Remember, chair yoga is not just for seniors. All of us can benefit. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.